Okay, cool. So we're here for the NIC Foundation Awards program info session. But before we move forward, I'd like to take the time to acknowledge that North Island College is honored to acknowledge the traditional territories of the combined 35 First Nations of the Inuktitut, Kwakawaka'wakw, and Coast Salish traditions, on whose traditional and unceded territories the college campuses are situated. So the NIC Foundation Awards program, it's done through a online application, which is open from March to April 30th. And students only need to apply once to be considered for all bursaries and scholarships we offer. Be mindful, you must have a student ID in order to apply. So if you're new to NIC, please note that it usually takes between 24 to 48 business hours for them to process your application and assign you a student number. Then you're good to go. So the first thing, once you have your student ID number, is to go to our website, foundation.nic.bc.ca, then go for the Students tab. So let's go to the website. So this is the foundation.nic.bc.ca website. And here is the tab for students you need to click. So here you will see there are 5 steps on how to apply and also our frequent asked questions. You just need to click here and the field will expand and you can review all the information here. Okay, so going back to the PowerPoint, this will help you to get prepared. So please review the steps under how to apply. Also review our frequent asked questions. And when you're ready to start your application, you click the Apply Now button. But before I go there, I just wanted to show you that the first page you will see before you begin is the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, where you'll find our commitment that all the information provided to us on this application is secure and protected under the current information and privacy laws. The information you provide is only used for the purpose of matching your application to eligible awards and never shared. You must click on the box at the bottom of the page in order to continue. So I'm going to go to the website and I'm going to click the Apply Now. Since I already had this application started, it already passed that first page. So your application form has 7 tabs, as you can see here: personal, program, finance, grades, questions about you, and references. Okay, on the top of which you'll see the last time it was saved. That means you don't need to complete your application all at once. You can always save and come back later. There are 2 ways the information you're inputting to be saved. One is by clicking Save and Continue button, or when you move to the next section, it will auto-save it for you. Nonetheless, we strongly recommend that you have your answers written and saved in a Word document where you can copy from and paste onto the online application boxes as you go. That will prevent you from losing your work should your computer freeze, or if you lose your internet connection, for example, or if any other unexpected error occurs. It will also assist you with spelling and grammar. So first tab is the personal tab. So as I was saying, this is the Save and Continue button. And here is the next section button. So either way, the information you are inputting, it will be saved. And here you will see the time and date it was last saved. So you're sure that the information you just inputted, it was updated over there. Okay. So the tab Personal. Most of the information is auto-populated from your MyNIC account. However, if you're missing information on your MyNIC profile, that can cause an error when you try to submit your application. So please review all the information in this section, and if any update is needed or if any information is missing, such as your mailing address, postal code, or phone number, then please log into your MyNIC account and update your profile there. Be mindful that updates may take up to 24 business hours to reflect in the system, so you don't want to leave this to the last minute. Okay, so for the high school question, I just wanted to point out that if you're an international student, you should not select any of the listed schools, and on the box other high school, you can write internet. So the information here will populate from your MyNIC profile, your address, phone number, email, gender, and those ones here you have to select from the drop-down menu. And that's the information I was saying. So this list here of high schools are for domestic students. And if you're an international student, you should write here international. And the last year you attended the high school. So you can either save and continue, as I said, or you go to the next section and then you're brought to the programs tab. All right, so let's see what we have for this tab. In this tab and through the application, we have embedded hints of areas we think you might need further explanation. For example, there are 5 points to help you determine if you're an entering student or not. Let's take a look. So here, if you click in this box, you will see the definition, what's an entering student, what is a continuing student, what is a graduate student. And there are other areas as well where you can click here and will help you with the definition. For example, here, what's a dual credit? So for the campus question, please select the campus where your program is based. So if you're attending both online and in-person courses, select the campus where your in-person classes will take place. For example, Bachelor of Science in Nursing students must choose the Comox Valley campus as this is the campus the program is based. You can check the NIC website to find out where your program is offered, okay? All right, so let's go to the next tab, the Finances tab. So next section, and here we are on the Finances tab. You'll see that all fields on this tab are required, okay? And if you're not sure how much your tuition cost is, you can check this information on our website as well. So a common question in the Finance tab is about the taxes part and line 150,000 from your tax notice of assessment. If you did not file taxes in 2024, please use your total income. That also applies to international students that are new here and did not file taxes in Canada yet. In this case, you should input the total income you earned in 2024 in your home country converted to Canadian dollars. Okay? So again, these sections are all required because the more information you provide for us, the better we can determine your level of financial need. And even if you think you have a low need, for example, your parents have a high income or you already have some financial support in place, you may still be eligible for bursaries that have very specific criteria. So please provide as much information as possible to enable the selection committee more opportunity to support your application. Keep in mind that details provided help to match with sometimes unique winner criteria, and your file will remain confidential at all times. So since all boxes in this section are mandatory, if one of them does not apply to you, you should include 0 as the amount, and for the box specify the sponsorship. If that does not apply to you, please write not applicable or just. So that's the line 150,000 I was just mentioning. the cost of school that I showed you guys where to find the information, and monthly costs while in school. So please include all monthly expenses that you're personally responsible, including what portion of costs you pay to support dependent family members. So let's say you don't pay anything, so you should write 0 because all the fields are required, okay, for you to move forward. So if you are not the person responsible for paying those things, you will need to include 0. So if you're receiving sponsorship, please specify the type of sponsorship you're receiving here. If you're not receiving any sponsorship, you're just gonna write NA. Another important field here is that if you are an international student, you should also provide information regarding your savings. So if you're an international student, please tell us how much money you declared on your study visa application and how much of this money you expect to have by August 31st to support your 25-26 academic year. If there are any areas of this tab that you are unsure of or that need further comments, please explain in detail on the last box of the page. So if there's anything that you need to explain us better, that you want to provide further comments, that's the box that you're going to be inputting the information. So if you're checking this box here, you understand that you will not be included or evaluated for scholarships based on your academic performance. That's because scholarships, they are based on academic performance. So you'll need to provide your GPA. GPA is the grade point average, and a common question here is in this tab is how you will calculate it. So you have some options already here in the drop down menu, and if let's say you don't have the exactly GPA here, you're going to round it up. So if your GPA is 3.55, you round up to 3.67 and choose this one. And this field here is for high school students only, so not all of you guys need to worry about that one. So moving forward. So questions tab. Please don't rush through this section as these questions are designed to extract those applicants that meet some of the unique criteria that some of the awards specify. We strongly recommend you answer them all and give us as much detail as possible. You might be giving us the tidbit we need to assign you a specific award to you. So let's go back there. So questions tab, you'll see there are comprehensive questions here. And we strongly recommend you guys to go over them all and provide as much details as possible. Okay. So next section is the about you. So let's see what comments we have about that one. Here, you'll be providing further information to help us to understand you and your unique circumstances, thus making a stronger application. As in this section, you'll be inputting more heavy content. It is highly recommended that you save copies of your responses to those questions in a separate Word document, just in case an error occurs or your computer freezes. We read every detail you provide, and often is within these questions here, these responses, that we find the one thing about you that fits a specific award. Donors want to support your passion, your path, and your future. Remember that everything you share within this application is confidential. And you can read some sample responses for examples on how to add more depth to your responses. And this is your chance to tell your story. So here you can see for this question, tell us your career or education goals, help us understand where you are or might be headed after your education. So if you click here, you will see a simple response would be, I want to be an education assistant, and a more in-depth response and an example of that. Okay, and the same for the other questions down below. So next section is the References tab. Only a few awards require a letter of reference. You can find a list of all the awards at foundation.nic.bc.ca/search-awards, and in its descriptions you can find this information. Reference letters, if that's the case, if you are providing a reference letters from instructors, would tell their perception about students' hard work towards their studies and demonstrated results they could witness, as well as any classroom projects or other meaningful participation the student engaged in that benefited them and or other students too. Reference letters from agencies, places where the student has volunteered would mention roles and activities performed by the student, as well as how they contributed to the community. Approximate dates and location and volunteering took place would be mentioned as well. So if you go here again to that page, and if you click here, search awards, you can browse all, and if you scroll down, you will see a list of all the awards that we currently offer. And if you Control F and you write here, for example, reference, you probably have preference, which is very similar. So letter. So this award here, BC Hydro Scholarship, applicants are encouraged to submit 2 letters of reference from former teachers and or employers in support of their application. So there is another one here, Port Alberni Elder College bursary, and there is another one too, but for that we would need to research for reference and go over those more larger numbers in order to find. But all the awards are here in this page and all the criteria too, if you're curious about that. Okay, so going back to the PowerPoint. So that's pretty much what the application form is. Just don't forget to hit submit at the end. So you need to submit your application here. Don't forget to click on this button, and once you hit the submit, once you submitted your application, you should receive an email on your MyNIC email address confirming that you submitted your application and providing you a reference number, which we recommend you to save for future reference. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So there's a question here in the chat. Why is the grade point average part optional? Well, it is optional because the awards, they are pretty much divided in subcategories. And for bursaries, for example, it's not taken into consideration academic criterion. It's only financial need. So if you're not willing to provide your GPA, you will be considered only for bursaries, taking into consideration only financial need, not grades, not academic performance. Can bursary applications be submitted for future later than the upcoming year? No. The application submitted now is for the current year only. So you can submit your application for 25, and then next year you will be submitting another application. Some students, they think, well, but I already applied last year and I was granted an award, so maybe I'm not even bother applying this year because I'm not going to get anything. That's not true. Okay, so we evaluate all the applications again, and if you meet the eligibility criteria for one of our awards, you will be granted an award regardless if you were already granted before or not. Okay, but applications are for the current cycle only. Right now, we are working on the 2025 cycle.